Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm bringing you an idea born out of the fact that I have a lot of ribbon trims. So I've got this pile, and I have this box of trims, and a bunch of other ones that I'm not going to bore you to show, but I have a lot. So I was thinking about ways that I could do it, and a while back I did do my trim toppers or trim pockets where I did a whole bunch of trims on there. This one ended up being a pocket in here, and I have made toppers for ones. That used a lot of trims up. That was fun, and I was thinking, well, let's think of an easier, quicker project to do. So I thought about trim frames. Those could be fun to make, right? So I kind of played with a little bit, figured out how I wanted to do them, and I'm going to show you how I did them. So a couple of the styles that I have, first one I started out with, I had a colored piece of paper, and I used that. It's okay, not as much of a big fan. I did do these coordinating, so if you want to put them in the same journal, they would work because they have sort of the same colors. And then I did rectangular ones, and those are fun. This would be a great topper. It's big and huge. Not a topper for this journal, but obviously just to show that it is bigger. So that would be a great way to make an outside of a topper. Smaller ones for book pages, etc. Most of them I've done, they're blank in the inside, but I also did this one where I put a clear Mylar plastic on there to use as a pocket. And I did find a spot that would be, I think, wonderful in this book. So I figured I'd take that and glue that down to be able to make a pocket here. And how cute is that as a pocket? Now, you do not have to put the Mylar on the back, like say you wanted to put one on there just as a decoration on a tag or something. Let me get this glued down. I'm going to do 3 sides for a pocket. And what's fun about these clear pockets is if you don't have anything in there, you can see what's behind there. So I did pick this particularly because there's flower trim and flowers on that page. Pink on that side. Fun, right? Cute. So one set is all said and done, and I have a tall tag that I want to stick in there. This is not the tall tag, but it would go ahead and put it in there, and you'd be able to see through it. And there you go. And I wonder, I have these. This might be a little wide. I don't want to force it. Yeah, this would have to probably be trimmed down a little bit, but that would be cute. With a little flower sticking out. I'm going to keep that in there. Future project. But yeah, so that's one of the ways you can use it. But like I said, you could also use it to just decorate a tag or something. Put that on there, be able to put something in between there. So let me show you how I did these. It's really quick and easy to do. All right, so I'm starting out with a cardstock. It's fairly thick, not too thick, just enough to hold up the ribbons on their own, but not too thick that I can't do this first fold that I do to help me cut these. Now, the way that I did them is I folded them in half. Oh, like I say, we're going to make this one the rectangle one, and then we'll make this one the square one. So I took the rectangle size, and that was like what that ended up being. And I folded it in half. Try to do it straight. Oh, this is just not like it wasn't cut straight to begin with. Okay, so I folded it in half just to make it easier to cut out the inside. Now, if you've got X-Acto blades, you could do it. The first one I did do the fold, and I cut it by hand. You can kind of see how it kind of swirls in a little bit. Not very straight, kind of goes up. By hand, not the best way to do it. So after I did that, I started cutting them the way I'm going to show you. So these ended up being a little bit straighter. And you can't even tell, like I said, I folded them. You can see the fold in the back, but on the front, you really can't even tell that I folded them. They stay pretty straight. And then once they get glued down into something, you would never know that they were folded. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut these. Now, the main thing you want to do is you want to make sure you cut where the fold is, because if you cut where the open part is, it doesn't work very well. So what I decided to do, these were 4.5, and I wanted to make just a 1/2 inch border, because a lot of my ribbons are about that size, and I thought that was a good size. So what I did was I went, since this is 4.5, I went to my 4 1/4 mark, and oh no, my 4-inch mark, 1/2 inch, sorry, my bad. So it was 4.5 inches to start, so I went to the 4-inch mark to leave a 1/2 inch border. Now I started cutting, and you got to be careful you don't cut all the way through. So it may take a little bit of practice, but you kind of just go as far as you think you want to go and pull it out. Now I might want to go up a little farther on that, but I think it's probably pretty good. All right, so we're going to flip it over to the other side, cutting on the fold. Once again, we're going to mark this side, and we're going to put it at the 4. So I have a 1/2 inch on this side. And I'm going to cut down. Now again, if you don't have a chopper or cutter, you can use an X-Acto blade. You can use a ruler, a pencil, however you want to do it. I just find it easier to do it that way. Okay, we'll get this out of the way for a second. Now, I can't cut this way because it would just cut off. So I do take my scissors and do my best to cut that way. Again, X-Acto blade, probably good. So I just go up one of the sides, and I do kind of curve that end to get the end and go to the end. And using longer scissors helps to do a straight line because you're not chomping. Just got a little bit more to go. And come on. There we go. And there is the first frame. Smash that down a little bit to get rid of part of the crease. And now I've got a base for a first frame. Now I can get a second one out of here to get the middle size one. And this is now 3.5 because I cut an inch off with that. So 3.5, so I want to go down to 3 to give the 1/2 inch border. I have the fold side up there. You only make that mistake once where you cut the wrong side. And we'll go to there. All right, same thing. We're going to go ahead and go up. And we now have the middle frame. So, like I said before, on the ones that I had originally picked the color for the top. So if you've got a color you want to use and have a trim that's with it, that's great. I found the white side, when I put it on there, it seemed to blend in a little bit better. I really didn't see it as much, and I liked it. It really made the ribbon the focus of the frame. And when you're covering it up completely, you really don't notice. This has like I think that's called a ladder ribbon. It does have holes on the inside, so if I did want a specific color to go in there, that would have been a good time to pick a color I liked. Same with this one. There's loops in there, so you can't see the white behind it. So if I wanted to have another color in there, picking it at that time would have been a good time, a good time to pick it. All right, so the last one, you can still cut this last one and make a tiny, tiny, tiny frame. And this piece is now down to 2.5. So we are going to cut at 2. And at 2. Now, I haven't gone any farther than that, but I'm guessing I probably could make one more frame after that if I wanted to, but that would be a tiny little frame. And there we go. Three separate frames from one piece of paper. Very fun. All right, so to do the square one, it's basically the same technique with the folds, except you want to start with a square piece of paper. So since this is a 4.5 inch piece, I would cut this down to 4.5 inches. Do the same where we fold in half. And since it's 4.5, once again, we're going to go down to 4. Cutting on the fold, flip it over, cutting it on 4. And voila, we have a square frame. Do the same again with that and make another square frame. I'm not going to do that because obviously you know how we do that. So let's go on to decorating some trims. Okay, so the first one I'm going to decorate is just this tall, skinny one here. Now, all the ones that I've done 2 different trims where I've done like one trim on the top and bottom and one trim down the sides. Now you could pick the same trim and do it all 4 sides. Totally up to you. I just like the fact that you can do a bit of a variety. Now, a couple of the other things that I did is sometimes I went and put a trim down and then put the other trim on top so that it covered it, the edge. And then other times, it might be harder to tell. Yeah, this one, you can tell it covered the edge because it's sticking out. And then other times I went and, might be easier in here, ends there. I ended it next to it so it didn't go underneath it to be seen. So you can pick whichever way you want. Now for this one, I think I'm going to do a rake up and down and then cover it with the other trim. So take the trim you want to put on there and cut a piece off. Easier to work with a cut piece. Easier to work with scissors that are sharp. I really got to find my little sharpener. I see it from here. I'll be able to sharpen it shortly. All right. Now, I don't think if I wanted to make it colorful, I could go this way. And I don't mind it because it has a bit of an old world color to it. I think I'm going to go that way instead of white. The white looked a bit stark to me. And when I cut these papers, I did not have the trim in mind. So having the trim in mind and then picking your papers might be the best way to go. But I do like that. Okay, I am going to use my art glitter glue, and I'll tell you, it does work. If you have Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Tac actually will work better. Mine is not running very properly right now. It is being difficult. So I'm going to use this. It just takes an extra couple seconds to push it down to have it stay, but it does eventually stick. Now, let me see. Maybe it's running better. I've had it on its side for a while. That seems to be running a little better. I did start this project earlier in the day when it was a little chillier, so of course I forgot to cut this. All right, so there's those two. And like I said, this one I'm going to put on top. Now you can have them stick out if you want, make them a little bit fancier, make them go to the end. Again, it's just up to you what you want to do. That's too long. And choices are good, right? I like choices. Okay, let's see if we can get this one on. A little extra on the ends, fabric to fabric. And if I really don't like it once it's done, how long it is, I can go back and trim it after it's glued down. All right, let's do this side. And I already think I'm not a fan of it overhanging, so I probably will go back. Oops. And trim it. I'll have to wait till it dries, obviously, because I don't want to have to cut through the glue. One of the good parts of Fabri-Tac, it rolls off. All right, let me get the the pin for that. Right in front of my face. And a pin for that. All right, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna trim this. I'm gonna let this dry, and let's do the square one. All right, for the square one, I've picked these butterflies and these flowers. So I'm gonna put the butterflies across the top and the bottom, just so that they are straight up and down, and then the flowers will go up and down. I'm gonna do it this way so that if it decides to go into a pocket, it will be glued down 3 sides. So this part that is folded will eventually definitely get glued down, versus this way, which would make the pocket want to rise just a little bit, which could be good too because it makes room for things, but I'm going to go with that. Now I am going to stick with the white on this one and do that. I am not mad about that. Now if I wanted to ink it up a little bit beforehand, let's see what that looks like. Get this out. Just use some yeah, that muted it down a little. I like that. Okay, so the next decision is, do I want to butt them up against each other, or do I want them to overlap each other? And I think I'm gonna, first off, I'm gonna get rid of this brown butterfly so that we can start with purple and end with purple. And I think I will butt it because I don't want, I have this on top of it. I'll have it on top of it. Okay, so we're going to go with the purple first on the sides. And these are the sides with the fold that we figured out earlier, and we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so as you can see, and I think I said in the beginning, this is truly a really easy project to do. Does it take a little time? A little bit. You figure out what you want to use and cut it out, but you could sit there and grab a bunch of these papers and cut. Like I said, I started out, they were, I'm not sure if I said they were 4.5 by 6.5 to start when they were rectangular. So you could start with those, make them square, and get 3 frames out of each one. So it doesn't take long to get several frames. Get your, so once they're all cut, they're cut. And then you get your, decide on pairs of frames, or again, just one single fabric. Then you don't have to decide what coordinates. And I forgot to cut this. Decide on which ribbons, trims you want to put on there. A lot of these, like I said, were a little bit shorter than 1/4 of an inch, or yeah, or 1/2 inch. So they fit on there good. Unlike like this one, which ended up, I don't think I showed the back. It overhung the outside, so it didn't really matter. And you can see there, it wasn't even straight totally on here, but you can't even tell. Maybe you can, but looks fine from that side. You could also probably layer these if you felt like it, and you had like a trim like that, and then you found a thinner trim you wanted to put on there. this is not one I would put on there, but it's like a very tiny trim, and you wanted to layer and have a second trim on something, you could put 2 layers on there. I have lace that I could put on there. Just options, as they say, just options. All right, so let's put the butterflies across the top and the bottom. And we're gonna go purple to purple. This purple in this flower is just a bit off from the purple in the butterflies, but I'm okay with that. Now on one of them, I did glue sheer ribbon. Let me show you. Might be hard to see on this. I did glue sheer ribbon on there, and you can really see the Fabri-Tac behind it. So I would not recommend sheer. And this is not the same one, but this is the sheer ribbon I'm talking about. It looks great on there, but yeah, it's hard to glue it without seeing it through it. So I did that, well, like I said, I did that with Fabri-Tac. Maybe the art glitter glue would work for that, or maybe even a stick glue possibly. Might show a little bit less of the glue showing through, but I was not the biggest fan. All right. Okay, so if I want to go purple to purple, I gotta get rid of, and I'll save these, put them in my little box. All right, purple to purple. Now this size would it's upside down, not upside down. Okay, this one should be able to come off pretty good. And flip it around. And I probably could have kept it that way. But yeah, see, now there's the top. Butterflies on the top, butterflies on the bottom. That one's really cute. I'll pull that off, cut that off when it dries a little bit more. I love it. Very cute. All right, so this one should be dry enough. Hopefully I can trim it. And let me see if I can use my little scissors a little bit better. There we go. And we'll trim that side. There we go. Yeah, I like that better with the edge trimmed. I do not mind it. And I do like the gold kind of paper behind it. It was fun. So if we have a journal card or something, we find there's like a card, makes it into a journal card. I feel like construction paper. I'm not sure where that's from. Just happen to see the blue. But you can put that onto something. If you had a page, attach it on there. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's see if we need to trim this one. And I thought I did. Yeah, I need to trim it on this side a little bit. And a little string. Now, if you want ribbon to not fray, you can either find fray check. It's usually in the sewing department of places, and I would suggest Joann Fabrics, but we all know what that will lead to. Or you can cut with pinking shears. That helps it not fray. I'm guessing a little Fabri-Tac would probably, just dabbed on the edge, would also make it not fray But if it's anything kind of like that sheer ribbon, you're going to see it. Don't do it. But that one's really cute too. I love it. Okay, well, I think that is all I need to show you for this. And yeah, like I said, I hope you like the idea. We got a couple more that I can make some frames out of, either the white or gold side. And little guys. And of course, don't forget the one I already put in the book for that. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for me today. If you like the video and like the idea, a thumbs up would be great. Any questions or comments, I'm always happy to answer those. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.